Oh, he's so fluffy.
Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is vlog number 59 for March the 19th, 2018. Seems like a long time since I've done a vlog, and I would have done one last Monday, except that, as you know, I've been a little bit under the weather. Both Walter and I have been, and if you saw Stephen and Walter live yesterday, we talked a little bit about that, so I don't need to go into it anymore, just to say that I may be coughing a little bit here and there, and my voice is still a little scratchy. So anyways, what have I been up to in the last week? Well, I did the March Mission Inspiration page for Mike Deacon, and I had a little problem with this page. I made a lot of mistakes that I eventually covered up. So it's this one with Uncle Sam in it, and if you want to see the mistakes that I made on this page and how I corrected them, I've put the link to this video below, so you can take a look at that. And I thought it's important to show you that not every time somebody does a art journal page, or any piece of art for that matter, that there are problems, and how do you get around them without scrapping the whole thing. You shouldn't really get too discouraged. It happens a lot, and sometimes the final product is better than what you intended once you get in there and fix those mistakes. So I have that all in the video, and so as I said, the link is below. What else have I been up to? Well, I've gotten all my fabrics for my first sewing class, and I had my first sewing class for making a quilt last Friday. It was a lot of fun, and we're doing something called triangles on a roll, which is basically this printed piece of paper. It's like tracing paper that you lay down onto your fabric, and you pin it down, and then you sew through it. And that's as far as we got in that class. And I guess this week coming up, we're going to be shown how to cut it so that we get something called half square triangles. And it's a zigzag pattern in this quilt, in this class that we're doing. And I think it's going to look pretty good when it's done. And I'm hoping in this class, and it's already happened, that I'll be learning some of the tips and tricks and things that I've been doing wrong, and how to correct them and how to do it the proper way. That's primarily why I'm taking the class. But it's a lot of fun as well, and the ladies that are in the class with me, they're a good group. They're lots of fun too, and we're all at about the same level as far as quilt making is concerned. So really everybody's very supportive, and you know, can answer some of the questions that I have about different things. And speaking of quilts, you know that when I was in Australia, I was collecting tea towels. Didn't realize how many I had actually collected. When I got them home, I had about 30 tea towels. Actually spent quite a bit of money on tea towels, but as you know, I was going to take those tea towels, I'm going to cut them up and use them to make a quilt. I said a quilt. I have so much material that I can probably make 4 quilts. I might make a couple of tote bags out of some of these. We'll see. But I got started on the weekend. Again, if you saw Stephen and Walter live yesterday, I did show this, but I'll show it to you again. This is the beginnings of my quilt. Got it upside down. There it is. And as you can see, this is all made from pieces of tea towels that I bought in Australia. I really don't have a plan for this. I cut that map of Australia out of a tea towel and appliqued it as the centerpiece of the quilt. And I'm just basically designing it as I go. So far, I'm kind of happy with the way it's turning out. And I'll show you the finished product when I get it done. And what else have I been doing? Well, of course, I took a lot of pictures when I was in Australia, so I've got literally thousands of pictures, and I'm not going to print every one out. So what I'm doing is I'm going through them, I'm picking out from each day 5 or 8 that I really like, and I'm going to scrapbook it. Now, I was thinking of doing it as a junk album. I thought about doing it as a Project Life album. I think I'm just going to do it as a standard 12 by 12 scrapbook album. But I'm going to use up some of my scrapbook paper that I have a ton of, as you know. And also, when we were in Australia, I went to a lot of art galleries, and I took pictures of some of the art. Some of it is indigenous art, which is very bold in its colors and its designs. And I'm printing out some of those, and I'm tearing them, sort of an art journal kind of background method that I'm going to use as the background for these pictures as well. I'm going to have to create my own embellishments. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet with that, but I've already printed out some titles that I made using my Cricut Maker, and we'll go from there. Now, when will I have it done? Heaven only knows. I used to be a frantic scrapbooker, or I don't know if that's the right word, frantic, but I used to scrapbook a lot, and I was very fast at it. I could get a lot of pages done. But I haven't been scrapbooking, traditional scrapbooking, in a while, quite a while actually. And so this may take me a bit of time to get back into the groove of doing that. But anyways, I'll show you the end product when I get it done. Excuse me, I have to have a little drink. Okay, so those are the things I've been up to. Haven't been up to a lot because, like I said, both Walter and I have been sick since we got home. Nasty cold. Lodged in our heads, lodged in our ears, our sinuses, in our throat. Walter's getting over his. I still have one ear that's difficult to hear out of. I'm still got scratchy throat. And, well, at least it's better than nothing, because a week ago I didn't have a voice at all. So that's the reason I didn't do a vlog, and why we put Stephen and Walter on hold for a week as well. So anyways, we're on the mend. So what's next on our list of things? Okay, YouTube channel of the week. This is one I discovered, I think, while I was in Australia, although I don't believe this person is located in Australia. It's called Kattvalk, and I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's K-A-T-T-V-A-L-K, Kattvalk. And you can check it out right here. I'll insert it right here. This week's YouTube channel is Kattvalk, K-A-T-T-V-A-L-K. This is a really great site for a variety of techniques and tricks that use a variety of different products and tools. Some of her ideas are a little quirky, others are sheer inspiration. So check her out. That's Kattvalk at K-A-T-T-V-A-L-K. So as I said, excuse me, I found that kind of inspiring and a little quirky, so check it out. And now, next part, persons of interest. I don't have any, okay, because nobody has sent me anything. Of course, I was in Australia, so I'm sure that's why a lot of people didn't bother to send me anything, because I knew I wouldn't get to it until I got home anyways. But I'm home now, so don't be shy. As I've said before, I've put in the show notes below some prompts that you can use or not use, up to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you're doing. If you've got some pictures of what you're working on, if you have a website, if you have a YouTube channel, whatever, a blog, a vlog, let me know about that too, and I'll feature you here on my weekly vlogs. So don't be shy. Now, one person that I did feature on my vlog back a month and a half ago or so was Nairi. Nairi lives in Australia, as you know, because those of you that are regulars that join us on Stephen and Walter Live have met Nairi online there. And we met Nairi physically when we went to Adelaide. And we went out and had coffee and dessert with her and her friend Sandy. And to my surprise, she presented me with a lovely card that she made, and I'm going to show you that card. This is Nairi's card and her message inside. Very nice. That's going to go in a place of honor. And even more special than the card was this canvas that she made for me as well. And she knows I like butterflies, so she included those in this as well. And it's a very nice mixed media canvas. So thank you, Nairi, for that. And it is going to go in a place of honor, where I keep things like this. And so it was really nice to meet Nairi. So, you want to be a person of interest? Just send me an email. That's all you have to do. Okay, so moving on to my resource list that I have listed below. Of course, there's the link to Stephen and Walter Live for this week. There's a link to the Australia Adventure playlist for 2018, which are all the videos I took while I was on the trip, and I know many of you have already watched those. But I took a video every day when we were on the trip, and I did it from the point of view of being a tourist. I didn't really take it from the point of view of trying to explain this to you and explain that to you and the historical background and the significance of that. Just whatever came into my head at whatever spot we happened to be on. My thought about that was I wanted you to see what we saw and how we saw it. You know, rather than trying to be very educational about the whole thing, I just want you to try to enjoy the experience as we were enjoying it. So that link is below. There's a technique for jelly plates, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, listed there. The link to Kattvalk's YouTube channel is there, and also there's a link to my mission inspiration for March page that I did with my boo-boos and all there for you to see how I did that. So that moves us right along, and I'm moving at a fairly fast pace today. One, because I don't have a lot to share with you, and two, after I get finished this vlog, I've got to go and pick my mother up and take her to the doctor for a checkup. And a lot of you asked about my mother while we were on the trip, and thank you for your kind words and your thoughts. She was fine. She did have a fall, but the paramedics came, got her back up, and she was fine, so that was okay. She does have Lifeline, as you know, which is, you know, the I've fallen and can't get up people, and that's how the paramedics got there. But one thing that I had done is I had set up for them to call her twice a day while we were in Australia and my sister was in Mexico, in that overlap period when both of us were going to be out of the country. They didn't. We paid for the service. They never called her once. I was really ticked off about that. So I gave them a call. Now, I'll have to say that they were profusely apologetic about that. Basically, they went, they researched it, checked it all out, and found that the person who had entered the information to make those calls happen didn't put it in the right place, so the story goes. So as way of compensation, of course, it's a monthly charge that they make for the regular service. So my mother's getting a month free, which is nice. And also they're going to credit back the amount that we paid for this extra service to her next month's payment as well. I didn't even have to ask them for that or anything. I was going to ask them for compensation because I was really ticked about that. But they were right on the ball with it. So, you know, I have to say their customer service is really good. They also told me that they were putting in a new, I don't know, safeguard, security or something that would avoid having this problem happen to somebody else in the future. That could be a lot of talk. I don't know. We'll see about that. But I will be apprehensive about setting that up again in the future, in spite of the fact that they profusely apologized for it. But anyways, luckily, nothing happened with my mom. But now, we have a bit of a problem, excuse me. Her mobility is getting worse and worse. Her dependency upon my sister and I has gotten even more intense. Excuse me, losing my voice. And so I'm going to try and get her on a waiting list for a nursing home again. But before I do that, that's why I'm taking her to the doctor. I want the doctor to check her out, and I'm hoping the doctor can give me something that will state exactly what her mobility issues are, so I can present that to the people that I need to speak to about getting her on a waiting list, And hopefully this time they'll listen to me. Last time they paid me lip service, didn't do anything. So this time I'm going to get a little bit more demanding and see how far I get with that. Because she's not getting any better. It's as simple as that. That's the reality of the situation. And it's just going to happen that one day she's not going to be able to move at all. And then, quite frankly, we're screwed. Completely screwed with that. So that's today. The first stage of that. I'm also looking into seeing if the doctor can recommend a physiotherapist, someone to come into her home, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, and do some exercises with her to help her mobility. Again, I don't know how much this is going to cost. I don't know if the government will cover part of the cost, whatever with that, but I've got to ask about it. She will not exercise. She won't get up and walk. And that's her biggest problem. Her muscles have atrophied and she has to move. And so, yeah, it's not a really great situation. And quite honestly, I really don't know what to do about it. This is all new territory for me. A lot of people give you a lot of advice on what you should be doing and this, that, and the other thing. But you know, this advice is also coming from a lot of people who haven't gone through any of this before too. So yeah, it's all fine and dandy. They mean that in the nicest way, but I don't know. We'll just see. Just hope it all works out. It's just got to work out. So anyways, let's move on. What's pissing me off this week besides Lifeline? I thought about this on our last day in Australia when we're sitting in a restaurant having lunch. The stupid things that waiters or service people say to you, okay, as part of their job. I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm saying that there's just some stupid expressions that we all have heard and accept, and let's think about it. Maybe I was bored that day. Maybe that's why I got thinking about this. But here's one. So, you're standing, waiting to be seated. There's nobody behind you. There's nobody in front of you. There's 2 of you standing there. And they ask you, a table for how many? Let me count. 2? Okay, maybe that's just being really picky. But, I mean, when it's as obvious as that. But then maybe, again, we might have been waiting for somebody. So, okay, maybe they have to ask that. So maybe I've answered my own question with that. But other things. For example, they'll walk up to you. I'm just looking at my notes here. And I don't know in the different countries and around the world, but a new expression. It used to be they would come around to you after they'd served you and you'd gotten into your meal. They'd say, you know, how's everything? And you would say, well, it's fine. Okay, that's good. That's good service, right? They're checking out how, you know, you're doing. But now the new expression is, how's everything tasting? Well, they usually ask me that when my mouth is full. And it's like, oh, it tastes like crap. I'm going to spit it out. No, it's fine. It's good. It's whatever. I mean, I've been tempted to say, actually, I'm really not enjoying this. I think the chef put too much salt in it. There's a strange spice in it. It's a little underdone. It's a little overcooked. I don't know. But how's everything tasting just to me sounds like, I think it's better if they turned around and said, you know, how is everything? That's more all-encompassing. Or the other new one now that I've been getting lately is, it's a variation on those other two, is, how was your first bite? Well, first bite's not bad, but the other 20 I took after that made me gag. That's what goes through my head. Yeah, okay, I guess it's just their way of being, you know, polite and showing you service, the whole bit. I mean, it's better than somebody who never comes back to your table. That happens a lot in Australia. It's like, well, in Australia, a lot of places don't have table service. You go up to the bar area, you order your meal, you order what you want to drink, they give you a number, and you pay for it all in one fell swoop. And then somebody, once it's ready, finds your table with your number on it, puts it down in front of you, and that's the last you see of that person. And they don't come back and ask if you want a second drink or anything. You have to go back up to the bar and do the whole procedure again. So if you do have a complaint about the food or something like that, you either have to try and flag somebody down, or you have to take the meal up to the bar and complain about it. And the problem with that is most times there's some people lined up ahead of you. So you're standing there with your plate in your hand and, you know, you just go, is it worth it? I mean, I had one experience like that. We ordered hamburgers and we always make a point of saying, well done. Now, in Canada, it's just a given that they're going to cook the hamburger, unless it's a real fancy schmancy gourmet burger kind of place, but pretty much they will cook it well done. You don't want to eat raw hamburger meat, okay? Because really, you know, what's in hamburger meat? They say, you know, it's beef, but is it? Is there other things in it? Hamburger has been known to carry disease in it as well, especially if it's undercooked. So, you know, we always order it well done. Well, at this one place, we ordered a hamburger, we said well done, and I bit into mine, and it was raw in the center. Well, of course, there was nobody. I'd have to take it up to the bar and complain. So it was tasty. So I just ate it, and I'm living. So, okay. So at least here, when they're coming over and asking you how the first bite is, or is everything okay, or how's it all tasting, you have an opportunity right then and there to, you know, state what the problem is. So maybe that's not a stupid thing that they ask. So then they come around to you, and they always, some of them get real chatty with you. How's your day? Okay, now this happens a lot when you're buying something in a store, I have found. So how's your day so far? Is the new question. Well, you know, I am very tempted sometimes to say, it's the crap. I feel like 3 pounds of poop in a 2-pound bag. My back hurts. My voice is scratchy. I've got a headache. I wouldn't even be in here except I needed to get these things. Thanks for asking. That would put them off, wouldn't it? So you give them the pat answer. So, you know, stupid questions get stupid answers. Fine. And how's yours? You know, you feel like you're obligated to say something back to them. I don't want a conversation with the service people. I want to get my stuff. I mean, it's one thing to be pleasant. Hi, hello. That's fine. No problem there. But I want to get in. I want to get out. Plus, there's people behind me. And I have been behind people in lineups in stores where they've started the conversation with how's your day going, and they get into a whole long conversation about their life. Meanwhile, everybody else is standing in line wanting to get their business done. You know, if you want to have a conversation with this person, do it when they're on a break or whatever. And the other expression, which has been around for years, and I absolutely hate it, and I hate it because everybody uses it, and it's just so, it's used so much we don't even think about it anymore. And that is, have a nice day. No, I was planning to have a rotten day. What about you? I mean, okay. It's a greeting. It's a, you know, it's an alternate form of saying goodbye. Thank you. Have a nice day. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, okay. It's better than them dumping it in the bag and saying, here, get out. All right. I know. I'm being too picky. But it's just, I just got thinking, all these stupid expressions that salespeople and wait staff use all the time, and it's part of their job, and they must get probably pretty sick of it too, because really, do they care what kind of day I'm having? Do they really care whether I have a good day or a rotten day? We'll probably never meet up again. Are they that interested in what just went into my mouth? They'll know if it's bad. At least they will for me, because I'll tell them. So anyways, what's the alternative? I don't know. I guess there isn't one. Have a nice day. Thank you. Goodbye. Drop dead. La la. So anyways, that's what's pissing me off this week. Okay, let's move on to product review, because I do have a lot of things to show you. So when I was in Australia, did go to a couple of spotlights. Spotlights are like Michael's or Joann's kind of a thing. They sell crafting supplies, they sell sewing supplies, things like that. I've heard Adele on Inky Quill, who's Australian, talk about Spotlight a lot. So of course we found a couple spotlights and we went to them. I couldn't say I was that impressed. They're fine. They didn't impress me any more than a Michaels or a Joann's, put it that way. But I was looking for stuff that might be uniquely Australian, or things that I can't get here. And I found, and these are not unique, I found 3 clear rubber stamps, butterflies, a postage background, and this butterfly on a background kind of thing that I liked. They're by Kaisercraft. Kaisercraft we can get here in our own country as well. They're a big company, but they are based out of Australia, I believe. But it was the price on these that was really good. These were marked down to, I think they were $3.99 a piece. Now the Aussie dollar is pretty much the same as the Canadian dollar. So $3.99 Canadian, less if you converted it to American dollars. And so I bought these because, you know, I needed more butterfly stamps. But in this I thought art journaling with this too. And besides the tea towels, that's all I basically bought. I didn't buy any souvenirs of any sort. I bought a couple of little things for my buffet upstairs that has my little miniature village, and you know that I put little things from every place we've been on it. So I bought a couple of things for that. Excuse me again. And that was it. The days of buying a lot of souvenirs when I'm on trips are over with, because really, once you get home, you put them in a corner somewhere, you never look at them again, or they're dust collectors. Now, when I did get home, I had a big order come in at my scrapbooking store, Class Act. I did a lot of pre-orders of the new Tim Holtz stuff, and you know I love Tim Holtz stencils. So I got these 3 had arrived. I think these were the January release. So they're fun. I also got some of the Stampers Anonymous new ones by Tim Holtz, rubber stamps. Again, I do not need any more rubber stamps, but I do love his rubber stamps. So I pre-ordered, this one is the Entomology collection, Bugs. I thought it was a little different. I especially like the script stamp. Then I got Theories, it's called, which have, you know, again, looking at these for art journaling, have these backgrounds and everything, these shadowy figures, some expressions as well. Then he's got a whole collection that deals with wine and beer and cocktails. Had to have those. So the wine collection, and these are the last, he says, of his blueprint series. He won't be making any more of the blueprint style, you know, the ones with the look like they're a sketch, a drawing with the numbers, dimensions and things on them. So I got wine, I got beer. Got a little pretzel down here, kind of cute. And I really like the cocktails as well. These would make really great cards, or when I have one of my little art attack parties or whatever, these I think would make really neat little placeholders or things like that as well. I might even try to stamp them, clean them up a little bit, and see if I can cut them out on my Cricut as well. Of course, I'll lose these parts because the Cricut's not going to be able to get that fine a detail. But if I cut around them or put them in such a way, put them in the computer, scan them, remove some of the items that I know won't cut, we'll see. And then I had an order from Mike Deacon come as well in the mail. And again, I love his stencils too. So here are 2 of his latest stencils, the honeybee and the hexagon, looks like a honeycomb kind of a thing. Haven't used them yet. Still in the package, so I'll get to those at some point in time. So those are what were new. And moving on, book reviews. As you know, I'm going through my stash of books that I've had for quite a while, collected a lot, and I'm going to review them for you. It's kind of a good thing for me too, because I had forgotten that I had these, and so there's some great ideas in them. This one I discovered in my stash called Journal Fodder 365. Daily doses of inspiration for the art addict. This book is great because it's got a whole lot of ideas, prompts, things, and especially when you're doing art journaling, it's got some ideas because sometimes you just hit a blank wall. And that's what I use these books for. I leaf through them randomly if something catches my eye. And that's the impetus that I need to do an art journal page. So again, that's called Journal Fodder 365. And I've put a link to this on Amazon.ca. I think I did. Yeah, well, I will have one there. I was just looking at my notes for this because it is still available. I can't remember what it costs. It says on the back here I paid $25.99 for it at the time that I bought it. Canadian, American $24.99. Probably about the same price because I don't think this is that old a book. Just looking at the copyright in here, if there is one. And I can't seem to find one. So, but I think it's been around for only a couple of years or so. So, anyways, good book. And that brings me now to what? Let's see. Oh yeah, inspiration lists and tips. Well, of course, while we were in Australia, I was still watching YouTube, and I got some ideas there. Now, the jelly plate printing was one, using crayons as a resist. Kind of a neat effect. I haven't tried it myself yet, so I have nothing to show you with it, but I have put the link to that below. So it's another way to use your jelly plates, and also using your jelly plates or your gel press to print on fabric. Now, I'm especially interested in this because you know how I like to make my own fabric for my quilts. Speaking of which, I just ordered 5 yards of 5 different designs for my art journal pages from Spoonflower, and they should come in another couple of weeks. And my idea is, excuse me, time to quit, I think. Anyways, I put that order in because I want to make my own quilt from my own fabric. But this is another way to make your own fabric for whatever you're going to use it for. Mixed media, quilt making, sewing projects, whatever. You would just need to use fabric paint. However, you can also use your acrylic paint and you can get fabric medium. I have some and I've used it very successfully. And what it is, you can get it from an art store. You might even be able to get it at a Michael's. But all it is it's a medium that you mix in with your paints before you put them on the jelly plate, and it makes your paint washable, washable. That's what I mean. Your acrylic paints. So I might give that a go to see what I come up with. That could be a lot of fun. I think I still have some plain white muslin left from another project, so I might try it on that first and see what I get. So I'll let you know. So those are the 2 tips today. So events in the past week, well, let's see. I already mentioned about my first sewing class, and that's fun. And what else? Well, I've got some brand new glasses on order. I've had these ones about 4 years. They're all scratched up. They're falling apart. These were expensive glasses because they're titanium. Yeah, I was told that titanium was great for someone like me who abuses his glasses, and I do abuse them. There's no two ways about them. They drop out of my pocket, fall downstairs, I sit on them, whatever. So these have taken a beating. I go in all the time and get them adjusted. Right now they're a little crooked. I can feel that and I can see that. And they must get tired of seeing me all the time. And because they're titanium, though, they were supposed to stay in shape better. Not with me, they don't. So anyways, I got my eyes tested last week, my annual checkup, and my prescription for my reading glasses, because that's what these are, had changed slightly. So I thought, okay, well, it's time to go in and look at frames. So I did. The store I go to, I love it. He has the latest in designer frames, and they're really helpful in there too at helping you pick out frames, because I don't know about you, but with me, you see hundreds of pairs of frames and you just haven't got a clue what looks good on you or what not. So the new ones I have are kind of in this style, this shape, but the frames are sort of a translucent bluey color. It's hard to describe. And I guess too, the new lenses that I'm getting are supposedly better. They've come out with this, he told me, this new formula for making lenses that give you better vision, and they're more resistant to scratching and stuff like that, which is good because, as I said, I abuse them. So that was a week ago. I ordered them, and they're usually pretty fast, but I haven't heard anything from them in a week. But that was okay, because last week I had an eye infection. I'm just falling apart here. And I didn't want to go in and try on my new glasses, and when I had an eye infection, kind of a deal. Didn't want to spread that around. So anyways, I imagine I'll hear this week about them. And so next vlog might be new glasses. Okay, so that's about it for this week's vlog. Actually, kind of short, but as I said, I didn't have a lot to tell you about. Anyways, thanks for watching, and thanks for asking about my mom, and thanks for putting up with this, whatever this is that I've got and everything. And I hope you have a great week. How's that first bite? And you all have a good day. See you next week. Bye-bye.